Howdy, it's your old pal, Tiki the Hut. Thanks again for joining me on another Too Late Tonight with Tiki on a paint and chat. It's going to be more than just a paint and chat. This is also going to be an after-action report for the event I had today, which was a tournament, which I had no business in attending, but I did, and it was an absolute blast. So with this event, it was 6, and I'm also going to be working on our Cult of Imhotep Panther X, so that'll be kind of fun. So this event was six people. They had all come from around the state, and one from out of state actually, and they were all actually really good. Let's see, one guy was rocking Fallschirmjägers. One guy was rocking French, multiple platoons, which I didn't know was an option. I thought we could only take one generic platoon. But he had a lot of armored cars, horses, a whole bunch of stuff. One guy was running some early war Marines. And I think one other guy was running Italians. Not sure the other guy was running. I was, of course, rocking the Japanese. I don't mean to alarm you, but I didn't take last, so we are actually enjoying a Nice rum and coke victory, which is kind of nice. I think not coming last in my first ever tournament. I hadn't played bolt action in a while. I was pretty happy with the outcome. And more importantly, not to bury the lead, I got what I think is the best award possible. I got best sportsman. So you guys know that's what I was aiming for. Not to sound like a try-hard cheerleader, you know, but that's the award I was aiming for, and I actually got it. Made me feel really, really good. They absolutely spoiled us with prizes, which is pretty cool. But I was pretty happy. You know, I think it was a great tournament. A lot of great guys. A lot of fun was had. Hey, Kel, what's going on? It is delicious. As always, this absolutely tiny-ass channel, Matthew, I said child. This channel, Matthew, is not sponsored, but I absolutely love private stock. Hey, Shells of Iron, if it isn't my favorite three-armed Gene Stealer cultist and Knight enthusiast. How's it going, buddy? Yeah, as you can see, there's a Panther X to paint on stream. There'll be a lot more chatting than painting this stream, I'm not gonna lie, because I'm crazy tired. You know, after I painted that insatiable army of Japanese, but it was worth it because they took 5th. They took 5th at the tournament, which means I didn't get last, and more importantly, I got most sportsmen. So totally happy with that. And the Japanese were absolutely terrifying. My child doesn't love me. So right now while I'm chatting, I'm actually looking because I had to reorganize my desk to grab a bunch of stuff for the tournament last minute, as one does. So right now I'm looking for my stencil for my tank, because what I'm going to be doing is we're actually going to be painting on some Egyptian hieroglyphics. So if you guys have any questions about how the event went, let me know if there's anything particular you want to know about this bolt action event, and I will definitely cover it. Right now I'm just trying to find my my stencil. Hey, thanks. Yeah, those riflemen. Oh my god. Yeah. Shells of Iron was literally his channel, his live streaming literally documented my descent into insanity. So I kept building and painting those little bastard riflemen. But, so if you're familiar with the rules of bolt action, the way I ended up playing is I ran them as veterans. So there's three different games, and on the last game, the game I won, the event actually favored my army because there was 3 objectives and you needed to sit on and hold an objective. Well, when I moved these squads of 15 veteran Japanese, who if you try and fight them in close combat, they're usually going to win, and you have to kill them to the last man because they're fanatical. So when I moved them onto the objectives, you were short of, like, I don't know, not even a flamethrower, because they tried that. You can't dislodge them. They tried running them over with a tank, they just moved out of the way. These guys were like like cockroaches with rifles. It was phenomenal. Yeah, sorry for the delay in painting. I thought I left out my hieroglyphic stencil. I had to wait for that to come in. That's the only thing I'm looking for before I can start on the tank. Because I kind of want to start the stenciling first. That way I can touch up any mistakes around it. You know, see how big the stencils come out. Yeah, that's what it was. It was a lot of infantry, and I had my lunge mine guys. You know, so it's one guy with a stick, and he has a shaped charge on the end, and he's suicide. They took out a lot of tanks. The first guy I played was absolutely terrified of them, so they did their job. He dumped every shot he could into them, which was great. So it wasted a lot of his ammo. So I should have been blown off the board, but I wasn't, because he just kept trying to shoot those one guys, which is kind of cool. That was the whole point of the army, is to kind of make you make decisions you didn't want to make, you know, and kind of like throw you off balance. Very, you know, mind over matter kind of style. Alright, well I think we're just going to actually just start painting the tank without the stencil and start working on some of the stuff on it. So how's everybody else doing in the chat tonight? I wish I could find my stencil. Oh no, you're upset with yourself, Shells. Did you pick up another night? Oh no. Yeah, word to the wise, never go into the Warhammer store by yourself. Always bring a friend, for this exact reason. What did you walk out the proud owner with? A kill team? A knight? A couple of knights? A titan, mayhaps? Oh no. We know it'd make a squad of berserkers even more berserk if they had more arms. Ooh, dry pigments getting fancy. I love it. Very nice. So, yeah, luckily this tournament was set up where you played the first person randomly, and if you lost your first game, you played someone else who lost their first game. And then your last game, you played someone who's lost 2 games. So the last game was more my skill level. And luckily it was a match that favored my army. So that was nice. Surprisingly, not a single tiger or panther on the board. that surprised the hell out of me for 1250 points. One thing that did surprise me is one guy brought multiple platoons. That was my second game. I fought a guy running a French army. And I didn't know he could bring multiple platoons, because I looked at his board. Granted, I had a lot of infantry, so I can't complain. I'm not complaining. But I looked at his army, I'm like, that's a lot of armored cars. And he's like, yeah, I have 3 different platoons. I was like, that's a lot of platoons. The riflemen turned out well. Here, I have a couple if you want to see them. So these are the boys who stayed home, mostly because they had unnecessary equipment like these light machine guns. Light machine guns can be fun, but like I said, they're very, very expensive in an infantry squad, so they usually get replaced. And yeah, light machine guns for the Japanese, you know, we did put bayonets on everything. You know, little grass on their helmets. Easy for me to tell that they're special weapons. So same thing, we have non-commissioned officers. You can tell they have their green soft caps, SMG with a bayonet, because everything has bayonets. And then you can tell they have their shotgunto, the factory issued katanas. This guy's just a custom built medic. Japanese aren't really known for the medical supplies, so I just gave him an extra canteen full of sake, because I figured who wouldn't that help, you know? Just gave him a bunch more bandages in the back. Thanks, by the way. Yeah, it was a lot. So the final army for me ended up being I had a second lieutenant and his senior NCO. They both had SMGs and they rode in a truck. I called it the Moto Surf team. If you ever seen the movie Surf Ninjas, and let me tell you, they moto surf. Now that truck died every game, but they never died in the truck. Oh no, they died in the truck the second game. But other than that, they kept getting out of the truck and they would still fight, which is awesome. They destroy the truck, those two would get out and they'd charge an SMG and start trying to fight somebody. The last game, he saw it coming, so as soon as they came out, he basically hit him with a BAR and killed him. But, so yeah, that was the officer and senior NCO. I had a light motor team that were veteran. They kept putting out smoke barrages every game. That was a lot of fun to play with that mechanic. Not very effective, but a lot of fun. I had 3 lunge mines. Their names were Mashi, Mashi Mashi, and Mashi Mashi Mashi. They were absolutely brutally effective. The first game, they were just bullet sponges and bullet magnets, which allowed me to move my models how I wanted and score points. The second game, he misjudged them, and he brought his French armored cars a little too close, so I just kept popping his tanks, start with the heaviest one. In the last game, I was fighting early war Marines. Apparently, early war Marines have a special type of Sherman. This Sherman has a medium AT gun in the turret, but it has a flamer in the hull. So he kept trying to flame my little armored car and shoot my tank, and so I moved up Mashi Mashi and I gave him the old hello. You know, a nice little shaped charge right to the front of his tank. That thing went up like a firework. He was not amused. So on top of those guys, the final thing I had in my army is I had 4 infantry squads. 3 of them at 15, 1 of them at 10. That's a lot of troops, and they were all veterans. So moving them was kind of a pain. I had to kind of play fast because I don't want to slow play anybody. But and it took a long time to move across the board. But in my first game, I was moving them straight across the flight line. And this guy, he was Fallschirmjäger. He dumped everything he had into him: machine guns, mortars, like anti-aircraft guns, pointed straight down. He killed so many of them, but they're fanatics, so they don't break until you kill the last one. So he whittled a squad of 15 down to 4. And once they made it across that flight line, they charged and murdered his medium mortar team. They charged and murdered his machine gun team. They just, out of vengeance, they just kept charging everyone in view and just kept stabbing them to death with their bayonets. Absolutely phenomenal. He literally had to take his he took his artillery team, abandoned, or no, what he took it was some kind of team, I forgot what it was. Oh, he took another machine gun team, loaded them. He had a horse and carriage for like timber to like pull his artillery piece. So he loaded them in the cart with horses and took off across the map, running away from my little Japanese 4-man squad. Because I sure as shit was gonna murder those horses too. They were gonna get it. The team and the horses. Yes, Matthew, there was bonsai all day. And I yelled it across the building every time. Because I wanted to scare my next opponents and be out of nowhere and you hear like, bonsai! And then like look at the table and I just start rolling dice. It was great. I felt good. I felt like it wasn't, I mean, they hadn't played Japanese in a while, so some of them were confused, some of them were worried, some were like, is that really how it works? I didn't feel too overpowered, because like I said, everybody else had like an army of armored cars, or they had like giant tanks with flamethrowers, and they had machine guns and automatic rifles everywhere. Man, I had rifles. Rifles and a great attitude. So, overall, it wasn't really overpowered. The MVP, surprisingly, it goes to my little tankette. So I have this very rare, there weren't many of them made in the war. It's called a Type 92 tankette. So what makes a Type 92 unique is it's got 7-up armor all the way around. It's got a hole mounted, so it has a forward arc firing heavy machine gun, which everyone forgets about. And it has a turret mounted medium machine gun. But it's pretty fast, and it has a recce special, which allows if someone takes a shot at it, it can just run away, which is pretty cool. So, that little tankette, the first game it zoomed right out the map and scored me a lot of points. So it didn't really do much, but it survived a lot of shooting. The second game, it knocked out a motorcycle with a machine that had a machine gun on it, and it knocked out an armored car. And then he killed it with this beautiful, like 1 in a million shot across the board. He had to roll 3 6s in a row to get it. I was so happy to kill my tank because that was one of the best dice roll I've ever seen. I mean, I'm talking like we were like on like holding our breath when he rolled it. We were both cheering. It was one of those awesome wargaming moments. I mean, he shot this thing from across the map with a small tank. It was beautiful. And then the third game, that tankette did more than it was supposed to. I started off on a road, so when you're on a road and you end on a road, you can move a little bit further, you know, because it's a nice road. So, I guess people just keep overlooking the tankette because it's so small, but it zoomed up where he wasn't expecting, and he had a whole bunch of Marines in open cover moving to a building, and it just turned and gave him the old Bonnie and Clyde with the heavy machine gun and the medium machine gun. Absolutely ripped his squad of veterans apart. And then he was upset at it, so he deployed a bazooka team who shot at it and missed. He moved up a tank who shot at it and missed. Next turn, I shot at his bazooka guys, so they went down, so they lost their turn. He shot at it with the tank's flamer, and he hit it. And so that wounded, or it pinned it a little bit. The next turn, because he wasted his flamethrower on the tankette, that's how I was able to hit him with a lunge mine and take out his big tank. So it's one of those examples where I make someone make a choice that they don't want to make, you know, like they're upset at the tankette, so they're gonna waste their munitions on the wrong item while I move a guy up who can take out his tank. So that's how the army plays. The army plays where it's very simple, but the whole point is to make your enemy make decisions. Because ultimately, if they keep making decisions, especially throughout the long period of a day, they might make a mistake, and when they do, you just capitalize on it. But so I took out the tank. The tankette was still alive, so next turn he hit it with that bazooka guy again, and it didn't blow up. He just basically rattled the can again. That tankette, ended up really kind of holding its own. It took out a couple people. It pinned some people. It survived way more than it should. If you do play, on the rare chance you're watching the stream and you want to play some Japanese bolt action before version 3 comes out, go on Etsy, pay like the $15 to $20 and get yourself a 3D printed Type 92 tank head. It's not super cheap, like it's not like a weird rule, it's just a very unique vehicle. And every faction has their own unique vehicles. Like I fought against a Panzer that was open topped and had like this weird 20mm gun on it. I almost killed it too. He was terrified because he kept shooting my infantry, and I was like, I'm gonna charge your tank, and it's open top, so I can just get in there and stab them with bayonets and yank their asses out. So he was the one who tried to run me over with his tank. He's like, I'm just gonna run you over with the tank. I was like, they're fanatics, it doesn't work. I was like, but I'll charge you next turn. And he decided no. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, Matthew. Yeah, I think this is a good game. I think a lot of fun was had on a lot of sides. Like I said, the winner, hey, what's going on, Evolution of Gaming? The winner took home a nice prize. Mad props to the people who put this on. It happened to be really close to where I live, which surprised the hell out of me. But, the winner took home, I think it was like a $400 or $500 box set. He took home the Battle of Berlin. That was the first place prize. That's a huge box set. I ended up winning like, I think I took home an unopened box of Fallschirmjägers, which is hilarious because they murdered me in the first game. I took home a whole bunch of terrain, and I took home a model of Brad Pitt from Inglourious Bastards. I guess it's like a special print. Ooh, the Blood Angels. Is that the new box set that came out? What is... Nice, yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of guys pick up 30k Marines, to fill out their 40k armies. I like the look of the Firstborn. I'm not a big fan of the Primars. I know Shells of Iron has been printing some Primars, and they look absolutely amazing, by the way. His Dark Angel, if you haven't seen his channel, his Dark Angel, I don't know the proper term, they're a bunch of flamethrower troops. They look amazing. They absolutely look awesome. But lore-wise and stuff like that, I prefer the Firstborn Marines. So I get why people are getting 30k boxes. That makes sense to me. Infernus Squad. Oh, that's what it is. They're not taking you too long. Look. You see what these guys... You see these guys look like when they're mass-produced? Don't be like me, Shells. You keep doing what you're doing. That's amazing. Yeah, your guys look great. My guys are just, mass-produced. like an assembly line. But yeah, he's right. I built... Oh god, it was a lot. I don't even want to think about how many it was. It was way too many. And the worst part is it was batch painting, If you value your sanity, Shells, if you value your sanity, don't start batch burning. Because it's never ending. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It is 3 feet pretty. Like I said, you could tell what the weapons are, and you could tell they're my Japanese from far away, and that's all that mattered, you know? I'll definitely post some pictures of the tournament as a post from my YouTube channel so you guys can see that. I meant to do that earlier, I'm not gonna lie. I slept, when I came back, I slept all the way up until the stream started. I was super, super tired, because I had to work the night before. But, it was, like I said, it was my first ever tournament, so I was super nervous because I'm not a competitive guy. I love wargaming. I think it's a blast, you know, but I prefer more narrative style. But I've never been like a super like 1v1, everything matters, you know, points this, points that. Oh, and same thing, I just brought that same can-do chill attitude. I'm like, hey man, knock yourself out. Like there's times when I could have gone for the objective and I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna bonsai charge you instead. He's like, why? I'm like, I don't know, it seems more thematic. He's like, you're gonna give up this point. I was like, who cares? I was like, let's fight it out like real men. So, yeah, there's a lot of times where I did what was more thematic than what was strategically. I mean, I still had good tactics. So that was my goal, was to maintain my tactics. I'd still be a good adversary and not just give points away and ruin the rankings of the tournament. But at the same point in time, play more narrative and cinematic than pure strategic, if that makes sense. So I was tactical but not strategic, which is, to paraphrase, one of my favorite quotes from The Art of War is strategy without tactics is the longest route to victory. Tactics without strategy is little more than a noise before your defeat. One of my favorite quotes. And the missions were good. Like I said, the first mission was definitely set up for my opponent. He even said it too. He's like, this board and this mission suits my army well. And I was like, that's awesome, man. I was like, I'm sure maybe I'll get one. The second mission actually ended up suiting my opponent's army really well again. The second one I played, or the first mission I played, we started on opposite board edges, and we had to get models off the table past each other's board edge. And if they ended the game in their deployment zone, we still got some points for it. So, you know, I just slowly marched my Japanese up the board, taking whatever onslaught he could throw at them. And they kind of play, I guess, like, imagine if, like, Necrons, I guess. If, like, imagine if you had Necron orcs. I think it's the best way to describe the Japanese. Imagine Necron orcs, just slowly marching up the table. Very simple weapons, no big deal. If you engage them in close combat, it's going to hurt. But you do have to kill them to the last man. You know, you can't just injure a squad and they'll run away. So, you know, I just slowly marched across the board, sent 2 units on the flanks, and they got through. He ended up knocking out a lot of my army and moving a lot of his forces through, which I was fine with, because that means he had to run away from my troops, which made me feel better. And like I said, instead of running off the board, I just kept fighting him. But I took 2 kills, and he took a whole bunch. So the next game, I played against a very mechanized French. They had horse cavalry, they had the Sanguinese infantry, which you said were tough fighters, that were going to get me in close combat. He had a lot of awesome armored cars. Oh, that's the other thing, guys. These armies, I almost felt bad having mine on the tabletop. These armies were absolutely beautiful. It's tough to say who had the best painted army. I think that probably goes to the Fallschirmjäger guy, my first opponent, the guy who won the tournament. His Fallschirmjäger were absolutely gorgeous. That camouflage that he did, the special like autumn style splinter camo, it was absolutely gorgeous. Like, oh man, love, absolute love. The second guy's French looked great. It was a very interesting force that had a lot of, because he had multiple platoons, so he had a lot of armored cars, some light tanks, a lot of officers, cavalry, 3 motorcycles, I think 3 or 2 motorcycles with machine guns, a big artillery piece, as the French do. It was a weird list. We did okay on it. We probably could have won that. No, let me rephrase that. We probably could have drawed that game, you know, if we would have gone a little bit longer. We had 10 minutes left in the match. It was super close. I know, like he already had his win, so all I could do was draw him. It didn't really seem right in the tournament, you know, because he's been helping me a lot with the rules. We had a couple friendly debates about the rules, you know, so I'm trying to learn. Some things didn't really make sense to me, so I was like, "Are you sure that's it?" You know, and he checked the rulebook a couple times, and a couple times I was right. So I was like, that just doesn't seem like it's very fair. It doesn't seem like it makes very much sense. But he was a good sport. He was a very, very good sport. So at the end, I think I probably could have like insisted on another. We had another turn. I could have insisted on another turn. I could have like fast played and hoped for the dice and got there within 10. But all that just seemed super wacko to me. You know, it seems like I could feel like that competitive thing coming. I'm like, you know what? I was like, maybe I could, maybe I couldn't. I was like, who knows? I was like, it's gonna take me a long time to clear my infantry. I was like, so I'm happy to call it here. You know, I was like, I'm happy to call it here. You know, when I pulled the next dice, sure enough, I pulled the next dice, so I bonsai charged as closest guy instead of going for the objective. Because if I would have moved to the objective, I would have had to have passed an order test, and he would have gotten like 3 ambushes off of my troops. So they all would have gotten to shoot me first, giving me pins, and then I would have had to take a leadership test. Or if I bonsai charge, I have to charge the closest unit, even if it's behind me. But that charge goes off, you know, with no test, because, you know, it's a bonsai charge. So I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to bonsai charge you. So I ended up bonsai charging and killing another squad, and then we called it a game. Like I said, super nice guy, super friendly guy. I could tell he was super into the tournament, so I had no problem with that. I'm like, yeah, man, I thought he did a good game. He blew up my objective early on. That's all it was. You had to get a troop. You had to get your models on their objective to blow it up, like a saboteur. That's all it was. So I'm like, maybe I could have made it, maybe I couldn't. I'd rather live there with the maybes, you know? So I was happy to take that loss because I took a lot of kills in that game. A lot of kills. Shell. You know I literally live here to convince you to spend your money on things. So please don't listen to me. I don't want to be responsible for increasing the GDP of Australia. You know, but Bolt Action. I said the new edition. You can paint them fast. The 3rd edition of Bolt Action is coming out. So unfortunately I hate telling this to people because it makes me feel kind of lame. Like everybody else, I would just wait for the 3rd edition to drop and then slowly get into it. The one thing I can say is Warlord games are a lot more economic than Games Workshop. You get a lot more for your money. There's a lot more on the sprue. And what I can say, after playing a bunch of 1250 point games, I love 500 point bolt action. 500 point bolt action is where it is at. You have a few units, you have a lot of terrain, and it's just house-to-house warfare. So you don't need a lot of models to make 500 points. So hey, if you lived close, Shells of Iron, I'd give you the Fallschirmjäger I won today. You know, I would happily give those to you. I don't think I'll ever build them, so I'm actually going to save them for a prize for when I run a tournament. Yeah, Thanatos, there may not be any shovels at the end of the Japanese rifles, but there are shape charges at the end of our bamboo pole. Mashi, and Mashi, the lunge mines, they did a great job today of walking up and asking people to talk to them about their tank's extended warranty, and just giving them the old hello and just hit them with a shape charge right in the ass. It was amazing. They killed way too many. It's like I'm not that far away. Oh, man. But yeah, no, those guys, the lunge vines guys absolutely were their points worth. The first guy was absolutely terrified of him, so he spent a lot of his ammo and rounds and tanks just trying to kill these poor guys. And he had to move off my side of the board, so for my Mashis, I just had him go down. You know, they just kept hiding behind trees and buildings, and they're veterans, so they're almost impossible to kill. He was getting annoyed. He absolutely would not. I guess he was the only one who knew how bad the infantry were in close combat. He would not fight me. The French guy that made the mistake of fighting me a couple times, he cavalry. So I had one 10-man squad trying to watch my objective. It had been mortared. It had been flamethrowered. It had been shot with machine guns. So I was down to like 5 guys out of 15. And so he charged it with a 7-man cavalry unit. Oh no, it's down to 4 guys out of 15. So he charged it with a cavalry unit of 7 who all had tough fighter. I ended up killing that unit of cavalry in close combat. And then I ended up charging his flamethrower guys next turn. He had a squad of I think like 6 French engineers with a flamethrower, and I had 4. Oh no, I had 3 left. That's right, because he killed one. I had 3 left of my squad, so I ended up charging the flamethrower guys, and I killed them too. I was like, who wants it? So he ended up driving up with a motorcycle, machine gunning him to death. Oh man, my favorite was in that second game. I had a light mortar team, and he had these Singanese infantry. It was like 5 or 6 Singanese troops. They're really good in close combat. They're tough fighters. And he's like, what are you going to do? I was like, I'm going to bonsai charge. Like, you're going to bonsai charge with your 2-man light mortar team? I was like, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And so I ended up bonsai charging him, 2 versus 5. And he ended up killing one of my guys, and I killed up 2 of his. So I wiped the squad. Close combat is, I'm telling you right now, Shells of Iron close combat is fast and absolutely deadly. So yeah, the first guy knew not to let me get close for close combat. The second guy tested it a couple times. To be fair, he fought it well. He tested it with troops with tough fighter. So he killed a lot. And he made good decisions. They weren't careless decisions at all. They were well calculated. He had tough fighter. I just had the dice. I had good sake dipped dice. So he did absolutely. I said, don't take it the wrong way. He did absolutely nothing wrong. Both my first and second matches were, I'm talking top tier players, and one was actually out of state. But they're just absolutely amazing players. I mean, you could smell the smoke coming out of their heads when they're thinking about these tactical decisions. I mean, if you ever played War Game and it looks like you're sitting across from like a hawk, that's how they look at the board. That's exactly how it was. I mean, these guys were very good, very smart, made great decisions. They were a lot of fun. I also got my objective. I made each opponent laugh at least once. Multiple times, actually. So that was my goal, too. Made them laugh, made sure they were having a good time. Had some fun. Had a couple debates about the rules, but it was in a good, gentlemanly way. Hopefully no one feels any wrongly about it. My recommendation that I've learned is, doesn't matter how veteran somebody is, everybody's biased, including me. So don't be afraid to use the TO. That's literally what they're for. You can ask your opponent and stuff like that, but it doesn't matter how well you both know the rules. You're both biased. So I definitely learned just get the TO over there, and make the TO make a ruling. That's what I found out the best way to do it. There were 2 armies I didn't get to play. One was Italian. I really wanted to play the Italians. I didn't get a chance to. And the other guy, I actually didn't get to see what army he ran, sadly. Made me kind of sad. That's one thing I will say, Shells of Iron. If you like painting and you like, because I've seen, guys, if you haven't seen Shells of Iron, I'm always going to link his channel in my videos. If you haven't seen Shells of Iron's models, I'm talking they're gorgeous. He just finished, he finished a Necron, what is it, like a Tomb Spider or a Cryptophage? They have all these like weird names now. It's annoying. But some kind of like weird Tomb Scarab spider thing. And he picked such an intricate color scheme. It looks really cool. He does another one, bless his heart. I don't know how he will. That would drive me insane. It looks insanely difficult. But his one Necron he did looks amazing. But if you like that kind of painting, I feel like the basing for bolt action, like I saw some well-painted models, but the basing was out of this world. Don't look at mine. Mine's terrible. But some of the other models have like amazing basing, like crumbling buildings and like debris. One guy had like a broken bicycle. Oh, it was so cool. If you want to see good bolt action models, check out High Fleet Thanatos. Buddy, you're airborne. Your airborne look amazing. I don't know how you've done that yet. Your airborne looks really good. That's what I was going to recommend to you, Shells of Iron. When the 3rd edition comes out, they still sell the Band of Brothers box. It's not a very fair force. The Germans get a half track and a bunch of, I think they're Fallschirmjägers. And the Americans just get a whole shit ton of airborne infantry. But you do get some terrain. And you do get all the stuff you need to play a game. So if you're looking to like actually get a good army and you're like worried about the competitives, I would get the Gentleman's War. Both sides get an armored car. They get some good troops. It's kind of cool. Band of Brothers is generally a cheaper starter box. It's pretty good. I wish I could recommend the Japanese one, but you get some Marines and a half track, and then you get a bunch of Japanese riflemen, infantry squads, and you get a tank. So it's kind of cool. You get a tank, but it's not a very fair balance. I bought it because I'm using the American half track for my Japanese and stuff like that, so it was huge for me. Like, it was mostly for the bits. Yeah, these were supposed to be the post, I guess, what is it called? Blue Belly or Blue something. That new book that came out, the most recent book, Blue something. It's supposed to be the post book Italians. They're supposed to be a little bit better. Yeah, I heard a lot of rumors about what's going down in 3rd edition. I'm not a pretty girl, so I don't spread high school rumors. I was never pretty enough for that. But I heard some stuff, makes me worry a little bit about my poor Japanese because nobody's talking about them. Of all the rumors I heard everything about every army except Japan. So I'm like, shit, that's never a good thing. When they don't talk about your faction, I feel like they're about to beat us like a piñata at a 4-year-old's party. So I don't think I'll be getting my fanatics and my bonsai charges in 3rd edition. I think that combo is going right out the window. So we'll see what happens to my poor Japanese. I'll still play them. I'll always play Japanese. It doesn't matter if they nerf me, boys. The power of bonsai. Even if I can't bonsai's mechanic, I will still bonsai charge. So, I was going to build a new bolt action army right before I heard about 3rd edition. So these are my Imperial Japanese Army. I was actually going to build my Navy, so my Special Naval Landing Force, I had to call a SNILF. You know, like Stacy's mom's a SNILF. So, my SNILF were going to be different than my Army in the fact that they weren't all going to be riflemen. They're going to be a lot more SMGs, a lot more Grenadier squads, because I was practicing using smoke today. Because when you use smoke with just one light mortar or with just one howitzer, it's not that effective. But if you have 3 light mortars in an infantry squad, when you move, that's 3 smoke shots you can put out. So even if one misses or one drifts, you can legit just start setting up smoke screens. So when people park their artillery or their rockets or their tanks way in the back of the map, you can literally just smoke them. And I call it the smoke and choke, because you move up with SMG infantry and flamethrower troops. So you lay down smoke and you just keep moving up the board, and when you get close, you do what you do best, engage them in close combat and kill them. So I was going to call it the old smoke and choke. They're going to have to give Japan something, Matthew, because they're opening to where they're lowering the cost of tanks because they want people to use these tanks, because people complain they never get to use their tanks, Panthers, which, to be fair, I was at a 12-50 point match and I didn't see a single heavy tank. So I get it. Okay, that makes sense. That's fair. But I think because of that, they're allowing in armored platoons and they're lowering the cost of tanks. We all know Japan doesn't really have heavy tanks, so we need something. I don't know what they're gonna give us, but I feel like they're probably gonna take away Fanatic. I don't know, but they're gonna have to give us something. Otherwise, it is just gonna be brutal. Hey, thanks for joining Shells of Iron. I appreciate it, man. Means a lot. You know, I like watching your streams. I'm glad you jumped in mine. And thanks for checking in, brother. I'll definitely catch you next stream. Oh, hey, thanks. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream, man. Thanks. Yeah, this is a paint chat. It's a lot more chat than paint because I just came back from a tournament. So I wanted to work on my Egyptian tank. I wanted to spray paint my stencil, but actually can't find my stencil because I moved everything around trying to get ready for the tournament. So I'm just slowly working on the treads. Not a big deal. But yeah, we're just chatting about bolt action, possibilities about 3rd edition. You know, what we could see, what I saw at the tournament. Hey, the knife. What's going on, brother? Glad you could join. Yeah, I didn't take last at the tournament, you know, so there's that. First ever competitive event in 10 years, and I didn't take last. And more importantly, I got best sportsman. That was my goal, and I met my objective. That was like my secret objective for the whole tournament, you know, and I met it, so I was pretty happy. My big objective was to make each of my opponents laugh at least once, and I got that too, so that was awesome. And the Japanese, at a very high skill event, the Japanese did not disappoint. They did their due diligence. They fought the good fight. I lost my first game pretty handedly. I might have been able to draw my second game if I had played a little bit more aggressive. And the third one, to be fair, so the third game was set for me. It was objectives that benefited my army a lot, and so I tried to be good about objective placing. Like we took turns placing objectives. He got to place 2 of them. I got to place 1. He put 2 on his side of the board. And when it came time for me, it sounds so cheesy. I really wanted to be a good gentleman. And I have pictures, so I'm not just saying this. I placed my objective in the middle of the board, in the middle of the town, instead of on my side, because I really wanted to be a gentleman. Because I already knew the game benefited my army, because it was move in with infantry and hold an objective, and I have 15-man veteran infantry squads, so they're hard to displace. So I wanted to be a gentleman about it, and I put the objective in the middle of the town. And to be fair, he did everything he could to shell the fight and tech Zaggy out of that objective. He was early war Marine Corps, so he had these like weird rockets, like he had like a rocket team. He had a Sherman that had a flamethrower in the hole and an anti-tank gun, medium anti-tank gun in the turret. It was weird, cool, but weird. Alright, let's take a look. I don't know why the chat's not popping up in the video. That's kind of weird. I will definitely take a look at that. Yeah, I may take a break here in a minute just to see if I can find my stencil and maybe work on my OBS a little bit. So I may take about a 5 to 10 minute break here. Definitely refill my rum and Coke. It's delicious. Private stock and Pepsi. Definitely felt like I deserved it. It was delicious. Was it the, Matthew, is it the, forgive my terrible pronunciation, the Normal Warfare? Yeah, I feel like that might be the Normal Warfare. So he never got his rockets off. I zoomed my tank up on his flank. My Chiha, I spun the turret around and gave him both machine guns. And every single turn, I just kept machine gunning his Rocketeers. They were veteran, luckily, but I'm telling you, I think, put about 30. Yeah, I put about 30 medium machine gun rounds into that team. I killed about 3 of them. So on odds, it's actually pretty good. But oh yeah, I machine gunned the hell out of those guys. But yeah, the Japanese surprisingly held their own with light tanks and just sheer infantry. They were a force to be reckoned with. I mean, you weren't able to just like. I can say that if you have a fear of ever being like tabled, yeah, you're probably not going to table the Japanese, at least not second edition. That could be difficult. They do have a survivability about them that some people find irksome. Because they're fanatical, so until you drop to the last man, they're not going to take any kind of morale tests. And that includes in close combat. If you kill them, even if you win close combat and you kill the majority of them, you have to fight another round. But overall, like I said, it was a lot of fun. Chow was provided at a pretty low entry fee cost, and the prizes more than made up for it. That's certainly true. It was good fun, had by all, I like to think. I think I overheard a little bit of saltiness between one match. I said it wasn't a game I played, so I was happy with that. But I'm not sure if it was just one of the players, because I think he had a problem with multiple tables, I'm not sure. But from what I hear, compared to other events, like that was pretty mild, so that's pretty awesome to hear. See, that's the only thing I worry about competitive, you know, I'm not I think some people really get into it, which is totally cool. But I didn't see anything that, like, I didn't see any cheating, which is awesome. My first ever game of bolt action, the guy cheated, which wasn't cool. I saw no cheating here, no fast rolling, no hiding dice, no sketchiness with rules. Not really, you know, when there was, I asked the TO. Yeah, a lot of people are surprised about fanatics when it comes to flamethrowers and tanks. It was interesting. It's funny, they had a special Foobar award. Anytime you Foobarred your dice, you got these special like Foobar dice, which were pretty cool. Never really had that issue with the Japanese, so wasn't really much of my. I think I took 3 order tests in 3 separate games. That's maybe about it. Yeah, that's always been that's been one of my, I guess my new saying is pardon me, ever since the gas skull and the hard case incident, I guess Tacoma, my opinion on it anyways is not every wacka, not every win at all cost player is a cheater, but every single cheater is a win at all cost player. You know, anyone who's willing to cheat means they're willing to win at all costs by definition. So not every person who wins at all costs, not every super competitive, not every wacka is a cheater, and that's important to say. They're not all cheating, you know, because that's a shame I wouldn't want to put on anybody. But every single cheater has been a wacka person by definition. So but I met a lot of good, and by the way, High Fleet Thanatos, you're right. I met a lot of good competitive people who are just passionate about the game. You know, they don't let their competitiveness ruin their game or ruin their sportsmanship. They are just there to win. That's what they want to do. That's how they have their fun, and that's okay. You know, I actually met that type of person you were talking about. They're a lot of fun, very friendly, still had a good time. So that was cool. It was cool to see hyper competitive people who were still friendly and still like a pleasure to play, you know. As you can tell, I'm just slapping this black paint thickly on these tracks because I said we scoot them across the board, I pick them up and move them. I want this paint almost more like an armor. I want it on here thick and gooey. Like I said, from the sides, it just looks like a track. Let's see what I can paint the insides. Ah! Second tech priest. Figured it out on my own. What's up? Toaster loving cultist of Mars. Figured out my own shit. Yeah, honestly, Thanatos, that's the route I took. I wanted to be the laid-back, quote-unquote, funny guy of the tournament, and I think, I got the award, so that's what I got my secret objective that I played in trap mode, like Blue Eyes, Silver Dragon, where the fuck he was back in the day. So I got that. I was pretty happy. That anti-admech statements because I figured out how to get my chat to appear back in the video. Yeah, that's how I played. Like I said, I showed up and even told him, like, look, I don't really know the rules. I'm gonna kind of learn as I go. Please just be patient with me. and I'm just here to have some fun and throw some dice. Like, okay, cool. And my units were still scary enough that they still had to like, they couldn't just like do what they wanted. They still had to like kind of play tactically. You know, I'm not like a complete potato, but. Yeah, anyone who does play Japanese, I'm telling you, those lunch mines, it is expensive to take them as veteran. That is true. But holy sweet Jesus, they are a deterrence. They will either waste your enemy's time and turns trying to kill them, or if they need to get on your side of the board, just park them behind some cover and put them on down. You know, for like, and they have artillery and stuff like that, you know, give them the down dice. If the enemy's too far away, because when they bonsai charge, they charge the closest enemy, regardless of pins, and it's 12 inches. You know, or they can still, you know, run and attack them at 12 inches. So it's a 12-inch range from where that bonsai guy is. They are nasty. It's a way to, what it does, it shuts down the board. It limits your enemy's mobility with their tanks unless they want to risk it. The second guy I played had enough tanks where he could risk it, and I knocked out, I think, like 3 or 4 of his tanks. They were absolutely brutal. Or, in another alternate mode, and I used mine in the third game, your lunch mine is still an infantry model by definition. So in my third game, I bonsai charged him to some infantry in the wood line who was sitting near one of his objectives. They were sitting, I think, like 1 inch or 2 inches off of it. So I bonsai charged him. He's like, "You're gonna bonsai charge with that guy?" I was like, "Well, you guys are out of range probably anyways." And sure enough, that put my bonsai guy right on the objective. So he still had troops within 3 inches, so it was contested, but otherwise it would have been his objective. It would have been 2-1 instead of 2 and contested. You know, they able to get that bonsai charge and just run this single model all the way up there. So and he tried to shoot him too, but it's, you know, it's he's behind cover and he's a single man team, so he's hard to kill. The one thing I didn't see is I didn't see too many people, except for my third opponent, I didn't see too many people use down dice. You know, they generally just took whatever but I didn't use any HE or mortars, so anytime I shot at people, they generally just like took the punishment. You know, I guess my guns weren't that effective. It wasn't until the last guy started going down, I'm like, oh, well, at least that burned his turn, so at least there's a usefulness out of it. Yeah, the Recce rule is also powerful. I fell for that like twice. That thing's annoying. I have the special rule, but I never used it, so that's on me. But the Recce, if you have any unit with a Recce rule, it is extremely powerful because it wastes the enemy's turn. Like, I declared shooting on some horses and they Recce'd away, and I was like, oh, you coved bastards. Look at this one color tank. I'm trying to get on that Morning Glory here. Best painted. Okay. Yeah, I get why you like it, Vince. Thanatos, I mean, they are fun. It's still really not my scene. I mean, And same thing, they invited me to another one. I'm like, oh, damn it. It's like, I don't like competitive events. They're like, no, we need another guy for the team. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe. It's supposed to be in September. It's supposed to be right before 3rd edition drops. So I may go. Even my wife's telling me to go. So I might, but I don't know. I'm just not a competitive guy. I'm like, you really want a guy there who's just going to have fun? Like, we don't care. I'm like, oh, alright, maybe. On the plus side, it is a charity game. So that's pretty cool. But I don't want to turn up playing bolt action, you know? Yeah, you're not gonna lie. 3 events, so 3 1,250 point games. I think I got there at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. my time, and I think I left at like 1700 my time or 5 p.m. my time. I was exhausted. I was on my feet the whole time, rolling dice, bending over and picking up models. You know, I'm not a young person as I used to be. All my time of running around in foreign countries spreading democracy. You know, those bulletproof vests aren't exactly light, so my back, I do have a back injury from the service. But yeah, my back started acting up a little bit. I was like, oh, getting old. I was talking to my opponent in the 3rd match because he's an old veteran too. He was much older than I, and I was like, I don't know who's going to give out first, our armies or our bodies. I was like, but we'll see how far we go. Yep. Yeah, see, you got it too. Yep. You're like, oh, I'm still young, I'm having fun, and then you like bend the wrong way, and like years flash in front of your eyes of all the stuff that led to the pain. You're like, oh god, I'm down. Yeah, I think I was reaching over to like try and pick up a model, and I heard my back just go sneak, and I was like, uh-oh. I was like, I'm gonna take a little 5-minute break here and rethink my life choices. Don't mind me. But yeah, Thanatos, you're exactly right. When I got home, I talked to my wife. I caught up with my wife. I spent the mandatory time with my dogs because they will not have it any other way. And then I just instantly passed out. I'm talking, we put on a movie. I was out in the first 5 minutes. I think it was just staying up and painting and just all the thinking and strategizing and the driving. Yeah. I was absolutely exhausted. Which, more shout out to Morning Glory. I don't know how he does all these live streams and tournaments. That man must be a monster. That is impressive. I did one tournament. I was absolutely, to use their word for it, knackered. It's a fun word. Yeah, yep. Fuck, Thanatos nailed it, brother. Well, that's true. It is his job, so you are not wrong. Mad respect for his job. That is definitely. It'll sound lame saying, so bear with me, guys. It is definitely labor intensive. I think it's one thing to do it as a hobby, because it's the way to relax, but to have it be your job, which, like you said, that means you constantly have to be on. Like, it's fun because we can kind of half turn in, half turn off, but with it being his career and he has to fully be turned on the whole time, you know, almost like a performance, and he has to. That's rough. Yeah. So my only thing is I hope he takes more vacations. I truly do hope he takes more vacations. Speaking of vacations, at the end of the month, I will be going on a vacation / site survey reconnaissance for the Conflict 47 / bolt action event I want to hold next year. It'll be in October. It'll be down here in Florida. It'll be on the Atlantic coast. I want to give you guys a year in advance because I want to give. I'm going to split it up. I'm going to try and save. It's going to be a small tournament. So it's only going to be about 8 players. Anyone's welcome to come. It'll make sense when I explain kind of what it is. It's all going to sound like I'm very like talking in tongues and trying to hide stuff because I am. It's going to be a cool event. Thanatos actually knows what it is. He's the only person I've told that I think I told him like one other person. So it's a unique event. It might be the first in bolt action / wargaming history. It's a very unique location. It's not a convention. It's not a a comic book store. It's a very unique location and very thematic. And it unfortunately the tournament itself will be small. Only because I'm running it myself. It's my first one, so the tournament will only be about 8 people. But anyone will be welcome to kind of join and kind of like hang out and stuff like that if they want to. I know travel's involved. But with that, I want to hold, I'll probably hold 2 of the spots for invites. I'll probably invite 2 people myself. But all the other spots, I'm going to try and, let at least 2 spots go to my local guys here in Florida. And then the rest, I kind of want to open up to other people outside of the state if they want to make the drive down. I promise it'll be worth it if you want to make the drive or fly. If that's within your economic means. I don't want to tell anybody how to spend their money. But it will be, it definitely will be worth it. Especially on the prize side. I'm already collecting prizes for it. So it'll be a very prize heavy event. Definitely save room in your luggage. So after I make the site recon, I will actually start making official posts about it and tell you where it is and what it is and like all the pricing and stuff like that. Because once I do that, then it's official that I came up with the idea. So if anyone tries to snake that idea within a year, that's fine. I'll still be the first person who came up with it, and it'll make me happy. So. But until then, I'm going to try and go to as many tournaments as possible, even if I'm not playing. Which means I probably will go to that one in September. Just to learn. Just more, like I said, if I can get away with it, I'd rather go and not play than just watch the TO and hang out with the TO. But if the Tiki Terrors must bonsai, then we must bonsai for the Emperor. I understand. It's funny, I'm not a good player, but everybody's like, oh no, you should totally play, you should be on our team. I was like, you just don't want to fight the bonsai. Like, no, we don't. Like, yeah, bring those veteran lunge mines. I was like, I can do that. They were not very popular. Everybody tried their hardest to kill those poor brothers. Mashi, 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 and Mashi, Mashi, Mashi. The joke, if you haven't heard it before, is Mashi means hello in Japanese in my terrible pronunciation. And traditionally, to make sure that it's not like some kind of kanji or spirit demon or ghost that's kind of prank calling you, when you answer the phone, you say Mashi Mashi, because that would confuse them. Say hello twice. Make sure. It's the same thing with static and bad phone lines. There's a lot of reasons why I say Mashi Mashi, but it's kind of a cultural thing, from what I understand as a gaijin, outside of the culture. So I named my lunge mine guys. Lunge mines, in case you don't know, all my models are packed. I haven't gotten them out yet. So a lunge mine is an infantry model with a long wooden spear, and on the end of that spear is actually a shape charge. So they run up and they basically hit a tank with it, and it's an absolutely brutal damage. So I call them Mashi, Mashi Mashi, Mashi 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 because it means hello. So they run up and like, hello, what? Just hit a tank. And apparently, open top people like to take open top tanks to save some points, you know. But absolutely terrified of your infantry squads. I almost clambered on top of a Panther and killed the whole crew. He had to like literally drive through my guys, and they still tried to chase him. That was pretty good. Overall, I think if I would have taken a different army, I think I would have gotten stomped. To be perfectly honest, I think my victory and a lot of my kills, as long as I lasted on the board, was almost solely dependent upon the models I took. It was more of a you know, broken clock right twice a day kind of thing. I had a very, very strong list. No, I didn't build it with anyone's help. I didn't build any wacko list, or I didn't like look up like what won tournaments, you know, last year. You know, as much as I like Bo's channel for Bolt Action, I didn't consult Bo and be like, what do I need? You know, let me add 5 Thaka Stewards. I didn't do anything like that. Someone reached out to me. He's like, hey, we have this last minute. Can you fill this spot? You know, I need your army list by tonight. And so I took a look at what I had. I didn't have enough models. I didn't have enough points. Took a look at the unopened boxes I had. I'm like, okay, I can reasonably build. It was not reasonable. I take that back. It was not reasonable at all. But I could build about 40 more infantry, and I think I can field 1250 points using mostly infantry. So that's what I do. That's what I ended up doing. So it was a list I literally built like that day just off what I had, and I mean I like to think I made it decently strong. I don't want it to be a total meme list, but it was a surprise. It was a lot of fun. I definitely encourage it. Like I said, I don't know what 3rd edition is going to hold. That's why it's in a tough spot. Like I said, I'll keep talking about Conflict 47 because I love it. I want to recommend Bolt Action, but I don't know how fun 3rd edition is going to be. I have fun with 2nd edition. I like 2nd edition. I don't know what 3rd edition is going to bring, and I don't want to like get anyone's hopes up. You know, I don't want them going out getting models and 2nd edition kind of completely nerfs their army. Probably how the Italians felt for 2nd edition, how they were like got brutal rules for so long. You know, I wouldn't want to do that to anybody. So, like I said, 2nd edition Bolt Action's fun. The rules are always out there. If you have the means and the availability, I encourage a quick 500 point match with your buddies. I think it's a lot of fun. Just when you build your boards, terrain heavy, put terrain everywhere. Build real terrain. So, you know what? That's what I'll talk about. This is why I'm glad I even streamed before I went to the tournament. You know, I stayed awake that whole time and streamed and painted. I'm glad I stayed up and finished my models because the terrain was so damn nice. One of the tables, I didn't get a chance to play on it because, you know, it's for winners. No. It's like copies for closers. I was not good enough to play on the pretty table, and I'm okay with that. One table was gorgeous. I'm talking they built it with like rolling hills. It had a little river. It looked like a picturesque French town, like French village. It was gorgeous. I got pictures. Like I said, I'm gonna post a whole bunch of pictures on the actual for the YouTube channel. There's posts, so you know, as long as you're subscribed and stuff like that, you'll be able to see the pictures when they drop. Or shameless plug, if you're a fan of Morning Glory and you're subscribed to him and you're a supporter of his and you have access to his Discord, all the pictures are already in the Bolt Action channel of his Discord. I told them ahead of time, you know, because they've been super supportive. I told them they would get all the pictures first, and they did. Of course, I was able to like kind of picture it while I was at the tournament, you know. But yeah, if you're not, no worries. I'll definitely get you those pictures as soon as I post them. As soon as I finish up here, I came immediately home and slept, so I woke up just to just to hop in and chat with you guys and work on this tank. I wish I had my stencils, but what can you do? There's still a lot of pictures. I just sent them a few of the highlights. But yeah, there's still a lot of photos. I'm trying to take as many as I could. That's one thing. Take all your photos. Take your photos before you make your crew rules. There's so many times I made awesome bonsai charges and then he took his models away and I pulled out my phone and I'm like, shit, when am I going to take a picture of? He already pulled his models away. So definitely take pictures, you know, before you do your super cool thing. Because even if you miss, you know, you can just delete, you can just keep or delete the picture later. But if it actually goes through, you actually have a picture of it. So I ran into that a couple times. I had a lot of cool fights, and he was already not amused at losing the fight, so I couldn't be like, oh, hey, put your models back on so I could take a picture of winning that fight. That seemed in poor taste, as it were. Yeah, just, I wish I had my stencil out so I could actually, because what I plan on doing, let me put the turret back on here. This is a grab again, yeah. So what I plan on doing is putting I have this stencil that has hieroglyphics on it, and especially like on the top, it's gonna have like almost like a cartouche style. You know, they have a cartouche kind of going across with and black of hieroglyphics, and like maybe some small hieroglyphics here on the front. You know, if I could fit some on the side skirts and stuff like that. So, because this is the tank for the cultish army, so it's definitely gonna be like kind of like, hey, you know, the Germans gave it to us, we fixed it up, we kind of put our spray paint and stuff all over it. But it was a lot of fun. I don't know if I can recommend competitive events. I guess it really does come down to who you are as a person. I had fun. Thanatos, you were right. I had fun. I don't know how much of that was like me having my own fun, you know, or how much was the events. If that sounds weird, hopefully not. I mean, they did a great job putting on the event. It's one of those things where I'm not sure if it's like my scene or if I just had fun in that scene. But good people, beautiful armies, beautiful tables, very solid event. They even had food. You know, I paid an entry fee and I walked out in prizes worth like triple times that. You know, and I had a good time. So, amazing event. I just don't think I'm a competitive guy, but I'll keep showing up and playing and having fun as long as people aren't upset about that. I think as long as I'm not taking someone's spot at an event who deserves to be there, I think I'll definitely be happy to show up. I think that's a good way to look at it, a good outlook. And the other thing I decided is, I will make this declaration now. I may have multiple armies, that should be fair, but this will always be a mainline Japanese army for Bolt Action Conflict 47. regardless of, you know, you can timestamp this if you want. You know, I think it's 1 hour and 31 minutes into the stream. I will always play Japanese. So even in 3rd edition, even if we get held down and have the fucking tar beaten out of us with a Nerf bat, I'll probably still play Japanese. I will find a way to make them fun. I don't care what I gotta do, what I gotta take, what I gotta build. I will play the Japanese, and I will have an absolute blast doing it. And try and have that infectious fun, you know, be bonsai charged and stabbed at everybody I play with. It's like the bonsais will continue until the laughter improves. Yeah, but that was my big takeaway. I was surprised at a 1250 tournament that I didn't see more Tigers and heavy tanks. But it makes sense because these are all smart, experienced, tactical players. So they wanted no part of that. They brought a lot of various... And it turns out medium tanks, surprisingly, not that good. I guess they're also a waste of points. Like, I guess okay, that's what it was. Everyone was hyper point conscious, which makes sense. Even at 1250 points, I mean, I didn't see a single wasted point. To some of the 40k players, it may sound kind of weird because I know 10th edition doesn't really have points. Not a dig, not being an asshole, just saying what it is. I didn't see a single wasted point. I mean, other than my own army with like, why do you have a veteran truck? I was like, I don't know, I ran out of points. Like, what do you want? It's a veteran truck. The veteran who drew the short end of the stick and has to drive a truck. I don't know. But for my enemies, I didn't see a single wasted point. In my 3rd match, the Marine Corps player, he did have this weird rocket thing that he wasn't very sure about. I helped him position it where he had good line of sight, because he was trying to fire it into the town. I was like, you put it on that corner over there, it should have line of sight right on my objective. And he was actually appreciative for that. He's like, you gonna let me get it off? I was like, absolutely fucking not. I was like, I'm gonna come after that thing. And he laughed, and sure shit, that's... So my Chiha, surprisingly, okay, so here's the other thing. My tank survived. I don't know how, I don't know why. So Yoshi, my armored car, died a couple times, but my tank, my Chiha, only got killed. It got killed in the first game. His medium AT gun, he didn't do very good against he took on 2 light tanks. He distracted both of them. A lunge mine destroyed one of them, and he couldn't kill the other one for some reason with his medium AT gun, which is fine. But they couldn't crack him either, so I'm okay with that. But in the 3rd game, he didn't die. He spent the whole game zooming up the sideboard, advancing, so he was only moving like 9 and shoot, 9 and shoot, 9 and shoot. But he's a Japanese tank, so I spun the turret around with the medium AT gun, and just gave them both medium machine guns, the one in the bow, the one in the back of the turret. And so I just kept moving up 9, just pouring, 10 medium machine gun rounds each turn into his rockets, because his rockets were all the way in the back on his corner. So this is gonna take me forever to get there. So I just kept laying down machine gun fire, just kept putting pins on him. That is the one thing I will say. It was a little crazy. I don't think I saw him fail a single order test. He did have a lot of veterans. Not insinuating anything shady, not at all. I was just impressed. That's what I told him. He was complaining about his dice rolls. Like, I've pinned a lot of your guys, and I haven't seen you fail a pin test yet. I was like, I think your dice are doing pretty good. But he kept dropping those pins that I'd put on him, impressively enough. But yeah, I just kept moving up the board. He had like 5 veteran rocket crew for that rocket battery. They were hard to kill. I killed like 3 of them, but still not enough to affect it. But he never hit with it, so... Oh no, he did hit with it once. I'm so sorry. He hit with it at the very end of the game, but both my infantry squads were... One was on the objective, one was in some grass south of the objective, and they had both gone down. Because it's the end of the game, so I don't mind them going down, because I wasn't going to bonsai them. And so he absolutely hit him with like a multiple rocket barrage. It did some damage, and I think if they weren't my veteran guys who had gone down, it would have done a lot more damage. But it killed like 3 or 4 models for each squad. So I think to a real squad, that's a serious thing. For me, that's like a Tuesday. Yeah, he got some good dice rolls this game. I'll definitely give him that. But I think just the placement of my troops and the order of which I moved, I think that's what really won me the game. Even though the mission was made for me, you know, he had 2 objectives on his side of the board. I put mine square in the middle, gentleman style. It was a damn good game. I think it really could have, you know, it could have swung either way, especially there in the middle. But just once I knocked out his tank and just started sitting my infantry on objectives, I think that was the turning point. Because it's to the point where I think because I just kept picking away at certain units, you know, doing what I can, putting pins here and there, shooting people. I just tried never to waste. That's okay. So that would be the advice for bolt action. Turn order matters, and don't waste a die. Like even on Super 6s, you know, take the shot. If you don't have to run it, you can advance. Great example. He had a sniper in a building, and I spent 2 squads advancing. So it was about 25 rifle shots. Ended up finally getting that Super 6 and killing him. So he was in a building, small squad, moved, that whole thing. It may seem outrageous, but you know the dice sometimes will smile on you. Don't waste your order die. I would say pins are important, but I never saw anyone on. Granted, maybe I didn't pin them well enough, you know, maybe I didn't do it correctly. But I never really saw anyone suffer too much from pins. Like I never saw any failed unit tests from my opponents. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. But at the same point in time, what I did notice, to be fair, is I did a little bit of shooting, but not a lot. I did a lot of close combat, so maybe that's why I didn't see like pins affect my enemy models too much. It's not like a humble brag, it's just me trying to point it out. It's because I kept assaulting. And when I assault, I either win or I lost. And I usually won, 9 out of 10 times. Yeah, so a mistake I saw that he made was with his Sherman. He turned and he turned, which counts as an advance for him, so it was a move and shoot. But he was point blank, and he put his bow flamethrower into Yoshi, my tankette, and he shot his medium AT gun at my Chiha. So he missed the Chiha with its holy blessed sake covered armor, and he hit the tankette with a flamethrower, but it didn't kill it, and that burned his tank. It burned his tank movement. And so what I did is I assaulted it with infantry, which all they did was I assaulted it with 15 guys. So it's a funny story. I have no AT grenades, but I wanted to get close to the objective. He has tank right on the objective, contesting it, you know, because he can't take it as a vehicle. So my infantry were like, we're just gonna bonsai charge, and the rule of bonsai is you have to charge the closest enemy unit, you know. And so I thought he was about 13-14 inches away, because I had just bonsai charged him with Mashi Mashi Mashi, one of my lunch mines, and he was literally 1 inch out. He was 1 inch away, and I was like, oh, so close, no worries, you know, maybe next turn. And for whatever reason, I guess he forgot about Mashi, but he turned to try and hit the tankette. I was like, okay. And so then I, you know, bonsai'd my infantry, because I figured if Mashi was out of range for the infantry, but oddly enough, my infantry were in range. So you had 15 guys start clambering on that tank, just beating them down. I didn't really do any damage, but it actually put some, you know, because you have to roll like glancing hits and stuff like that. You can't really do permanent damage to it, but you can pin the shit out of it. And that's exactly what my guys did. They put a shit ton of pins on that tank. So, it was only a regular, actually, so he would have messed up his order test. But then luckily, after that turn, as soon as we pulled I pulled the first die, and I looked at him, I was like, I think we both know, and it was Mashi Mashi Mashi. I bonsai'd him right to the side of the Sherman, and just absolutely detonated that thing. One of the other cool things about bolt action that I thoroughly love, it's one of my favorite things of all times. The only video game that I know does it really well would be Enlisted. Obviously, I'm biased to play that game a lot. Is destroyed vehicles count as cover? That is my favorite thing in the world. Like, I loved losing vehicles because they're now covered. Like, I have plenty of pictures you'll see. My stolen truck always got destroyed. That truck got destroyed every single game, but it became a piece of cover. And usually my officer didn't die. Maybe his adjutant would die, so here's another weird list. I can tell you, it worked for me. I had a regular second lieutenant and his adjutant, both with SMGs, riding, moto surf style, and a truck. It was happened to be a veteran truck, so I had the points. I was just trying to spend points, but I had a medium machine gun. And so, you put it on a road, you can get that road up pretty fast. And same thing, people will believe their eyes faster than what they'll believe in their head. And here's what I mean by that. So, ooh, you know what? I have a second truck. Perfect. So, and to be fair, and because I don't want to be weird, I don't want to be like, hey, this is what's like hiding in the truck. And only because it was two models, I was actually able, the way my truck's designed, I was actually able to fit both my models in the back of the truck. So it rode around literally like this, with my second lieutenant in the back with a sword out, like drive me closer. I want to hit, show me I want to hit him with my sword. And this guy in the back loading his SMG. So what's funny is people will forget, even though I have my model shown, they'll forget what's in the truck because most players are smart and they'll load troops in, they'll zoom them around. I'm not a smart player. I'm here for the memes and the lulz. So that tank became a high value target to a lot of people because like, what's all in there? I was like, just the lieutenant. And like, no one would believe me. Like, why do you have just a lieutenant in there? I was like, so you can't walk up and destroy a transport. I was like, to me, it's just a fast attack vehicle. It's just a fast attack soft. So what this truck was for me with the medium machine gun, what it was is, it's my medium machine gun squad. So take the price of a Japanese light truck, add a medium machine gun, and then put your second lieutenant in there because you don't really need his orders for the Japanese. You don't really need to pop two, or you definitely don't need the morale. So it just becomes a high mobility medium machine gun team with better armor because it's soft skin on 6. I actually, it's funny you mentioned that, Nathan. I do have a model. I don't know where he went. My hobby desk is a nightmare, so I can't find my stencil to work on my tank. But I actually bought a shaman, a literally like Tiki the Hut model. I think it's from like Frostgrave, Ghost Arpellago. But I'm definitely gonna put a submachine gun in his hand, and that's definitely gonna be my officer. It's a Tiki shaman with a Tiki mask. So it's funny you mentioned that, Nathan. That's actually going to be my model once I find him. So many models that I misplaced. I got to find these damn things. I'll shoot you a message what he is. He's pretty cool. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. I said my Tiki themed guys were pretty cool. I had my little Tiki display board. I didn't get a chance to cut out my little Tiki mask for pin markers fast enough. I wish I did. Also, for pin markers, I ended up having to use a lot of dice. Like, I used multiple D6s because I didn't have D10s. With the 15-man squad, I literally just, keep track on the dice. And the one guy was like, hey, you got the 10, your unit breaks. I was like, he's like, yeah, they pinned out. I was like, what pinned out? So like, infantry squad. I was like, nah, these guys are fanatics. He was like, are you serious? Like, yeah, I guess that's what he thought. So he hit him with a flamethrower, and he put so many pins on him, he wanted the squad to break. But I was like, nah, these are with the rules as they are, they're fanatics. You have to kill them to the last man. You can't hit them with HE. You can't flamethrower them. You can't tank shock them. The first guy I played tried to tank shock, tried to run him over the tank. I was like, no, these guys are fanatics. You have to shoot them or stab them to the very last man, which is possible. People did wipe infantry squads. That definitely happened. He learned he had to machine gun them, and he did. The first guy definitely machine gunned the shit out of my guys. But, overall, like I said, I got a little bit of pinning done, so I appreciate that. But overall, the tournament, I think, big success. It was a lot of fun. I was nervous as a long-tailed long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs. It was my first ever tournament in like 10 years of wargaming. Just not a competitive guy. I was worried I was going to show up and everyone's going to be like, that like meme, the actually guy. I was worried everybody was going to be the actually guy. I'm like, oh, sweet Jesus. But turns out a lot of people were just mad chill. Super chill, but also super tactical and strategic. They were there to win, and it wasn't negative. And that was definitely an eye-opening experience for me. I happily point to High Fleet Thanatos. Both himself and Mad Larkin were 100% correct. I'm always happy to admit when I'm wrong. Those guys were right. Just because you're competitive does not mean you're a salty, sweaty person. So I was, if you go back and listen to our podcast, Thanatos, I'm happy to say it on the podcast. I was wrong. You guys were right. Not every person in the competitive scene is a sweaty, salty, crossbow packing a-hole. So, so you're right, buddy. I had fun. I met some good people. Oh, you're just not back. You may want to play. Thanatos, play it back a few minutes. I literally was talking about you saying you were right. So, I had fun, and they were a good group of guys. I don't know. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good event. Everyone was chill. Nobody were really jerks. And you know what? Surprisingly, because we all know I was literally up the night before painting my guys. These aren't them. These are some of the models that stayed behind due to like weapon components. It's like here's a non-commissioned officer. You can tell because he has the soft cap. He has the SMG with a bayonet. More importantly, he has this factory-issued Shaikanto katana. So he's just an NCO. He was the kind of guy who stayed behind. But this was the actual theming and the painting of my army. So you can tell they're wearing khaki uniforms. They have leather boots, green canvas equipment, leather pouches. Medium it's a machine gun. And all my heavy weapon guys, including my mashi, my lunge mines, have the grass on the helmets. So someone kept calling them bushies, because they had grass on their helmets. But it turns out this super simple basing, and again, please let me advocate for laziness. If you're running a horde army, this is nice. So this is just 2 thick coats of cheap paint. This is what I used. I used Christmas green. It's a matte. It's a matte paint, very cheap apple bottom or apple barrel paint, very cheap. So I used 2 thick coats on the base, and then I just put in some grass tufts. These grass tufts aren't super expensive, and you get a lot of them. I think these are the Army Painter Woodland. Give me a second here. Yep, these are Army Painter Woodland Tuff. Oop, that's a glare. Oh, it's a glare. There we go. Army Painter Woodland Tuff. So yeah, that's a fast, simple, cheap base if you have a horde unit. And this type of green with bushes, it worked on all the boards I was on. I didn't play on the desert board, but when I played on the German airfield, the French village, and the other French village, it matched perfectly. So any map that has a little bit of green, even in a desert, that green would work a little bit, you know? So it ended up being a good base for the maps that I played at. And it's easy to mass produce when you have a horde army when you're trying to paint 40 of those little bastards in a week. Yeah, it definitely got hot in there. Like, some people got heated. Some people were definitely debating the rules and stuff. I've been vindicated. Yeah, some people definitely got kind of sweaty about it, but I think it was just one guy. But I think it was still a good time. You know, they were able to resolve their game and shake hands. So I think it was a win for that. So we got the tracks done, including the tracks on top of the tank. Not a bad day to painting. Not the hieroglyphics that I wanted. But hey, at least I got some painting done. I woke up just in time for the stream myself. I crashed immediately after the tournament. I will post some pictures of the tournament using the post for the YouTube feature. I do have a Discord. My Discord name is in my YouTube channel. So if you guys want to look me up on Discord and like send me a message, I'm happy to send you pictures that way as well. I mostly lurk in other people's Discords, particularly Morning Glories. But overall, man, it's a lot of fun. Super happy I was able to get in a last minute second edition bonsai charging. That is really all I wanted, was to absolutely I absolutely wanted to get in some last minute bonsai charging. Oh, hey, real quick, Donatos, was that a game of 40k or a game of Old World? I don't think you play Old World. Is that a game of 40k? Also, we got our paint in, boys, for the turret. If you look on the box, what's in the box? Look how that turret's supposed to look. We are going to be using this guy, Tesseract Glow. Oh, the Necron. So we'll be using Tesseract Glow for that turret. Oh, nice, 40k. Oh, I haven't got to play all. Yeah, I have an army. I have yet to finish painting. The theme of the army is white paint. It is the stuff of hobby nightmares. I refuse. I will paint the army when I'm in a piratical mood again, you know, so we'll wait till that happens. But, what? Why is everybody either in the UK or Canada? I feel like there's so few hobbyists in the States, like, so few famous hobbyists. You know, like, what, the Canadians apparently get Square-based, and you guys get Wargaming Dave. Wargaming Dave actually has his own channel now too, which is cool. You know, and then the UK get literally everybody else. Man. Yeah, I'm excited to use that green for that. Ooh, actually, Knife and Matthew, do you guys have a, what base coat should I go before this? Is there a good base coat that pairs well with this glow? Oh, next vid tabletop. Yeah, I stream this late. It works with my job, and more importantly, a lot of the guys I talk shit to, you know, they all happen to be from the UK. So, the main channel I follow streams during the week. So, I try and stream on the weekends. Like, oh, White. Oh, you guys are awesome. Yes. Thank you, Evolution. Thank you, Knife. I appreciate it, brothers. Yeah, so I try and allow for this channel to be on the weekends, so the people who watch this channel can like have something to watch, you know, on the weekends if they feel like it. You know, but they get like, they literally get 7 days of streaming. Not 7 good days, they get 5 days of his stuff and 2 days of my shitty antics, but you know, it is what it is. You get what you pay for. But no, I always think it's kind of a fun hangout. But I will take that under advisement. Matthew, Knife, and Evolution, thank you. I will, Alright, so I do have some different white paints. Look at this. I even have this old-ass paint. I even have ceramic white, and I have, correction. I don't even think they make ceramic white anymore. I do have white scar. Yes, I only have Citadel paints. Yes, I know they're expensive. Please don't deny me my hobby. I stick to Citadel paints. I know they're not the best and they're overly priced, but it is my thing. That correction board makes you cry. It's like that bad girl you know you shouldn't date in high school. Like just avoid her before she makes you cry, but you know I'm gonna open that paint jar. You know it. Like I really shouldn't dip my paintbrush in that, but I know I'm going to, and it's gonna be regret. Watch it on stream. Watch it on stream. Oh, here comes the thumb. Oh, clearly I dated in high school. Able to open that one thumb. Oh, look at that. That's not even white. It's not even white. Look at that. It's a horror stream. Oh, look at the white paint. Look at it. It's so perfect. How could they get paint so perfect? What a great way to end the stream. I'm sure HR will love that one. Oh, see, yeah, I don't even know how this whole paint composition thing works, but it's cool you explained that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll definitely reach out to Shells of Iron and see what he thinks as well. Yes, so funny you mentioned that. This went on chalkier than those nasty, like, what were those wafers called? Those, like, chalk wafers? It actually went on like Tums. That spray primer went on like Tums. My old world army is just like white and chalky. Such a pain to paint. But hey, I appreciate you guys joining in on the stream. Like I said, it was a lot of fun. We discussed a lot of things. I learned what to paint the tank charts. I'm happy about that. Hopefully next time you see it, I'll find my damn stencil, and it was and it'll have the hieroglyphics on it, so that'll be pretty cool. But overall, man, I had a lot of fun. I'm glad you guys, oh yeah, I don't even worry about temperature. I'm down here in Florida. It's just humid and hot all the time. Oh, that's probably why. Oh, so temperature and humidity matters when I spray paint. Who fucking knew, man? I just put it in a shoebox and just spray, baby, spray like it's a flamethrower and I'm trying to commit war crimes. Man, I really should get better at this hobby. I just half-ass so much shit. Alright, well, you guys take it easy. I will definitely see y'all next week. Pay attention to the channel because I'll definitely drop pictures from my event. And hopefully I'll even do some battle reports, some narrative battle reports. Who doesn't like a good narrative or battle report? So definitely stay tuned to the channel. I'll put out some more content. And as far as live streams, I will definitely see you guys. I will see you guys next week. I won't be here at the end of the month, but I'll see you guys next week. So as always, if you guys are going to bed, I hope you sleep well. If you're waking up and starting your day, or if you're at work, like I know Matthew probably is, hey, you guys have a great day at work. Relax, because you certainly enjoyed it. Biggest thing is y'all stay safe, stay hydrated, and don't forget to relax today, because you're on Tiki Time.
Smiles, no war drums, just peach from miles. Ghost park by Tiki lights, shadows dance in tropic nights. Sand beneath where boots once stood, paradise ain't so misunderstood. Lost in waves and hula tunes, Tiki drinks and months of moons. Forgot the fight in distant lands, just surf and play with tired hands. Bunkers built from palm and hope, coconuts and crude soap, imperial dreams, fade and sun, warriors turn beach bums. Shine to ocean gods we raise, praying for forgotten days. Sake in the campfire glow, life's a surfboard, ebb and flow. Lost in waves and hula tunes, tiki drinks and months of moons. Forgot the fight in distant lands, just surf and play with tired hands. And hula tunes, tiki drinks and months of moons. Forgot the fight in distant lands, just surf and play with tired hands.